It was the early 1980s, and Nicaragua was in the throes of a revolution. The U.S.-backed Contras were endeavoring to oust the communistic Sandinista government. The church was under heavy persecution. But along the Nicaragua-Honduran border in a little town called Salamají, a young man by the name of Julio Villarena was discontent with his Catholic faith. When he was 30 years old, Julio saw a painting of Christ's baptism and asked his Catholic catechist why the church baptized infants when Jesus was baptized as an adult. The catechist ignored his question. Several weeks later, a Christian pastor knocked on Julio's door. He was evangelizing in the community and wanted to talk to Julio and his family about salvation. Julio took advantage of the opportunity to ask the same question to the evangelical pastor. Why was Jesus baptized as an adult? The pastor began to explain, using scriptures, the meaning of baptism and why Jesus was baptized as an adult and not as a child. This only sparked Julio's hunger for truth and soon led to his conversion. Upon his conversion, he joined other families who had converted in his village for worship services in their homes. Even in the midst of war, bloodshed, and persecution, revival fires were breaking out in Julio's village. There was no established church and no missionary to train these new believers. Night after night, Julio and a group of 15 to 20 other young people gathered together after the service to study the Bible. Before beginning their study, they prayed and asked the Holy Spirit to teach them. The Bible would then be randomly opened and verses shown in gold. They would read the shining golden verse and discuss its meaning. Then they would randomly open the Bible again to another book and chapter, only to find another verse related to the topic of discussion, shining in gold. Each night, the Holy Spirit supernaturally guided them through the Scriptures, teaching them and discipling them on different doctrinal topics. As Julio grew in his faith, he felt an increasing burden to start a church. Land was donated, and a small church was built. A man who had been saved in HIM's Spanish church in West Palm Beach, Florida, had returned to Nicaragua and told Julio about the mission. A friendship soon began between Julio and Sidney Grant, which eventually led to Julio's church joining Hope International Missions. Julio continues to pastor. He has since started another church and a preaching point. He is also the Nicaraguan field director. God works in miraculous ways, His wonders to perform.